But we also need the ability to subtract the distance and duration from a total if an activity is deleted. And what I want to do here is write another test. This one should be a little simpler. So we'll still get the confirmed user. We'll still get this data to make sure we're starting on the same day. Because the thing about this is I want to make sure the date that we choose is also going to work with making sure like we're focused on the same week, because we have everything scoped between the starting on value, the user value, and the range value, and I just kind of want to make sure this is all the same. Although now that I think about it, it probably wouldn't really matter in this case as much because we're only going to make one activity. Yeah, so I might even just do like time.zone.now. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now I should change the name of this test. So should update total record when activity is destroyed. Okay, so let's see here. So we have the activity equals that, and then the total would be this, so that's good. So we have these three things. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make two activities. Let's just do, yeah, it's fine. I could probably do a loop, but it's okay. And then we have, that should still make one total. And actually, let's just drop a bybug in here. Clear this out, do Rails T test, models, activity test, and this is line 129. I just kind of want to make sure that my test data is good enough. All right, so let's see here. Let's just see, we should have two activities. And we should have one total, because these both happened on the same, during the same week. Okay, and actually let's just go ahead and inspect this. So we have the ID, user ID starting on, yep, because I'm recording this on Sunday, which the way that this works is actually the last day of the week, but that's what I want. Duration was 7,200, which is 2 hours, and the distance is 20 miles. All right, so that's good. So now what we want to do is, I'm gonna just give these names. So activity 1, activity 2, and then what we can do here is we want to assert that. So let's first just go ahead and just do activity 1 dot destroy. And then we want to do assert that the total, or we want to assert equal, and the total should be 10, and that should be for total dot, and we'll do reload to make sure it's the most up-to-date data, and I think it's just distance, and we also want to get the duration, so the duration would be 3,600. So that's our test. Now this is definitely going to fail. Let's just go ahead and run it. Yep, it failed, but that's okay. It failed for the right reason because nothing is actually built up yet. So next we want to go into the activity model, and we want to use a different callback. So instead of after save, we want to do after destroy, and we'll put that in there. So after destroy, put it over here, and then we'll do Let's just say like subtract from total, which that doesn't exist yet. So we'll go in here and do a new method called subtract from total. And once again, we need to find the total. And a lot of this is repetitive, and I do plan on refactoring this, but I just want to see if I can get this to work quickly. So we have that total there. Let's actually do a by bug to make sure it's even calling this method. All right, so the method's being called. Let's just see what the total is. So this is everything that we saw before. So that's good. I like to drop these by bugs in frequently just to make sure like things are being called when they should be called before I get too far into the weeds of like coding out the functionality. Okay, so now that we have that, and we found, or actually, we don't need to, I'm trying to think here if we really need to find or initialize, because if you're subtracting, or if we're deleting an activity, the assumption is that there was a total. And then what could happen is if you're initializing it, yeah, that's actually an interesting point. So I think we just want to do find, because if we do find or initialize by, and for whatever reason it actually initializes a new total instead of finds it, the values are going to be 0, meaning the duration and the distance will be 0. And then we're going to be subtracting from 0, and it's going to end up being a negative number, which doesn't make sense. So I think what we really want to do is just do find, and then we can just do like if the total exists, and then in here we should be able to do, let's get these other values here. So we want distance, I think we want converted distance. Yeah, so this is also super repetitive, but we're going to fix that later. So let's just do this real quick. So self.unit gets the converted distance. Again, we're going to refactor this. So we'll have the converted distance, and then we need we'll have the duration, right? Original duration, let's just copy that again. And where do I put that in there? I put that kind of towards the top. For consistency's sake, let's just do that. So we have original duration, and then we have converted distance. And I think what we want to do is just total dot distance equals, and again, this could be cleaned up too, total dot distance minus converted distance, and then we want to do the same thing for duration, and that would just be original duration. And then we can just go ahead and do save. Let's just see if the test passes. Undefined method join. Let's see what we got going on here. 129. Activity1.destroy. Interesting. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be undefined method join for hash happening on 110, which is this. So let's just put a by bug in here. Oh. It's because I need to do find by, not find. If you do find, that is, this looks for an ID. Find by, you can do multiple columns. So you can find by these 3 things. I think that was the problem. Undefined method exists for total. Oh, maybe that's just not a thing. I'll just do unless the total is nil. Cool, that worked. So let's just go ahead and save this because it's in a working state. We'll do git add and then git commit, and we'll just say subtract distance and duration from existing total when an activity is destroyed. All right, we'll push that up. The last thing I want to do is pretty much the same thing, but I just want to make sure that if someone updates an activity, it will account for that with the total. So we can actually just do, we can probably keep this really simple. So we can have one activity, and then what we can do is just update the distance to be, let's say 20, and the duration to be, or actually let's even do it like this. So let's just say 2 hours, and then this should be 20, this should be 7200, and this should be getting called, or actually I gotta change the name of this. So should update total record when activity is updated. So if we go into the activity model, I have after save create total. I might even call that create, let's change the name of this actually. So create or update total. And what happens, so that gets, the after save callback happens when you're creating something and updating it, so that accounts for that, but the after destroy is its own thing. So let's go ahead, what line is that? It's line 140. Let's just give this a quick shot. Undefined method update for no class. Activity 1.update. Oh, it's because I didn't change that to activity. Interesting. So this actually, oh, okay, so it's a good thing that I did this test. So it, what did I do here? So it actually added, oh, this is interesting. I gotta think about this. So what's happening is the first time I made this activity was 10 miles. Then I saved it. Then I went ahead and updated it. But it actually added 20 instead of accounting for the fact that I was updating something. So this is good. So this is actually, I'm glad I wrote this test because I thought it would be easier than I think. So yeah, what do we have here? Create update total. Yeah, this is actually interesting. I might have to do this in a separate video and give this some more thought. Because what's happening, the problem is, I'll just outline the problem, is regardless of whether or not I'm creating a new one or updating one, it's always going to take the converted distance and add it to the whatever exists right now, which is a problem. So what I'm wondering is if I have to just like query for all the activities and add up all their totals right here. Seems like a little, it seems overkill. I know I can compare values from previous records, so maybe I'll do that. But I'm gonna give it some thought, so I'll leave the video off here, but I'll just quickly, I'm gonna commit this though. I'm glad I wrote that test, so git add and git commit. I'll just say like write failing test to help guide in updating total values, something like that. And I'll push that up.